Sweet jam.
Hello, everybody. I was just about to say, see, I knew you'd get it. Pew, pew, pew. Welcome back to Make Me Smart Daily Edition, where we try to help you to make today make sense and even say those words out loud. I am Molly Wood. Kai Ryssdal, as you heard yesterday, is taking a mental health day. Good for him. And Andy Euler is stepping in. Andy, thanks for coming on the show.
Oh, this is so good to be here. Thanks for having me, Molly.
This is super fun. We've basically been plotting all the baseball talk for the entire week.
Indeed.
Are you in Austin?
I am here in beautiful Austin, Texas. It's kind of hot and a little bit muggy, which, it's May. So we sort
I'm
of
told
expect
that's
this.
just the deal. Yeah.
Well, yeah. And I actually sort of I was worried about the sound of air conditioner over the mic. So I was like, I had to tell my girlfriend, it's like, we may have to be kind of hot for a little bit. So we'll be okay.
Well, luckily for you, it's a really short show. It's so short.
That's right.
You'll be
Right.
totally fine. It is Friday. It's happy hour edition. So whatever beverage you have brought of any variety, welcome. Today I'm going with a Crispin Rosé because it's a little warmer here. That's what do you got?
So what I have, it actually does have a nice little story. Okay. So I have a beer from Austin Beer Works. It's a local brewery. And full disclosure, one of my best buds is the head brewer over there. So what they did in April was a collaboration with another brewery here in Austin over FaceTime. So they have a hazy IPA that they brewed together with St. Elmo Brewery. And they were just talking about ingredients. They were FaceTiming. They said the best part was that they got to choose their own music. But it's this great sort of, what are you going to do when you're brewing in a pandemic sort of story for me anyway.
Brew over FaceTime? Is this also going to be on Marketplace? Because that's a really good story.
It's a great little story, right?
Just saying.
And unfortunately, my buddy Will they sold out immediately, basically. So he was like, I have a few. So I am going to make that happen.
Real time open. And then if you are on YouTube, you will have noticed that we are live. We're kind of like stealth live. It seems to be working. I don't see people. Things are getting knocked over already. We've got this.
Right.
We've got it.
No, we're good. That was on cue too.
It was on cue. It was amazing. Generally speaking, today's formula is going to stay the same. We each brought a news story or two. We're going to talk it through a little bit and then make you smile and try not to look at our own faces on video. God, it's like a double whammy of the Zoom fatigue plus, oh my God, my face on YouTube. I'm going to pause it.
Well, and at the same time,
looking at the chat.
Because I've heard you and Kai talk. You know that you're eventually going to see what it, hey, Molly, we're doing this instead of, just sort of on the headphones. It is kind of nice. So, but I'm with you. It's like, stop looking at yourself.
It's a little, exactly. It's a little like, all right, a little. Okay. So let's get to the news. Let's end on sports and start with news. I've been sounds good. Beating this drum over the past few weeks about how interesting I think it is that the tech companies are really pushing the bounds of the whole there's blood in the streets by property thing. Lots of them have made acquisitions, mostly Apple, but then this week we heard Uber might try to buy Grubhub, and Facebook today, this was the big news, announced that it's buying Giphy. It's really a shame Guy's not here and we could have that fun.
I was going to say
everybody loves
the GIF and GIF. I was going to chime in, but that's him.
The GIF and GIF. So. Apparently, everyone does it. But I'm pretty sure the company is called Giphy. But now I'm second guessing myself and I don't know. Anyway, shareable animated images. They're buying this company apparently in a total deal valued around $400 million. And what's really interesting about this is not just that, yes, GIFs are really important to the way that we communicate. They also contain data. There is data about which ones you click, which ones you use. Giphy originally was planning to try to, and does even now, generate revenue via branded content. It's a big ad platform, and it's just a really interesting move that in normal times would get a lot of scrutiny. Now probably will. but I'm not sure how much. But I did also have a story from Wall Street Journal about how apparently the Justice Department and a group of state attorneys general are likely to file antitrust lawsuits against Google.
Led by our Ken Paxton.
Your guy.
our guy, sure.
So, yeah. So I don't know. Like, I guess we'll see, how much regulators are or are not paying attention during the pandemic, because certainly moves are afoot.
And there was talk of this merger before before all of this went down, right? I mean, they had sort of been in talks. Is that fair?
Yes, it sounds like they had begun talking prior to the pandemic, but that was more about a partnership, according to Axios. And now they just went ahead. I mean, everything, like the valuations are all, I think, way lower than they used to be.
Even
so a lot of companies are shopping.
The language that Facebook, because they made it official, I guess, later on, or just a few minutes ago. Even the language that they were using was still sort of a partnership thing, and maybe that's just the sort of way you sell it as a corporation. But it's an acquisition, right? I mean,
it's an acquisition, yeah. I mean, Facebook is saying like, oh, you'll get your own branding, but that's what they also have said with Oculus and Instagram and WhatsApp, and that's all true. And yet all the founders end up leaving because Facebook exerts so much control. So,
right.
It's like it happens, but it's not very fun.
Are we going to get to the point, and I know that you think about this all the time, I certainly do, the antitrust, are we Standard Oil? I mean, are we U.S. Steel? Like, are we getting to the point in technology where something is going to give? Has to be, right?
I mean, I think we were circling in on that point before times, before the pandemic.
Sure.
And that conversation had started, and you saw the FTC like forming a new antitrust task force to try to deal with some of this stuff. And yet now it's a little bit unclear. Like, if the Justice Department moves forward with this antitrust suit, that'll be a really big deal and a big signal. If regulators say, no, Uber, you absolutely cannot buy Grubhub and become, own 80% of the market in New York City alone, then we'll know. But like, certainly one of the overall themes, right, of the COVID era is getting bigger. So,
well, and just necessary consolidation everywhere. Restaurants,
right?
I mean, it's just happening. You're right.
Yep. And some are going to say it's necessary when it's not, which will also be one to watch.
Right. Because we want to acquire that company.
We just feel like it is such a good discount right now. How could I not?
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Is it baseball time? I want to talk about baseball.
You want to talk?
I'm so excited about this.
Do you, first of all, did you hear what Blake Snell said yesterday? Did you hear any of this?
Nope.
Okay. Blake Snell is a pitcher for the Tampa Bay Rays. He won a Cy Young. He was the best pitcher in the American League a couple of years ago, won a Cy Young. He said on his Twitch channel, and I'll read it, you got to understand, for me to take a pay cut is not happening because the risk is through the roof. He said, I got to get my money. I'm not playing unless I get mine. Which he had some players came out and sort of today, Bryce Harper, even, who makes $300 million, or signed that big deal. He came out and said, I back my man Blake. We sort of, we're worried about safety, things like that. What I keep hearing is it's really, really difficult for, I think, the public to understand millionaire baseball players complaining about taking pay cuts, right? Just the message is really, really tough. And this is all sort of coming from a labor dispute that Major League Baseball and the players are having right now. They're trying to figure out, if we do half a season, do we split revenue? And baseball is one of the leagues that has never shared revenue. There's never been a salary cap in baseball. And what the players are thinking, what the Players Association is certainly thinking, is that this will lead to the owners being able to cap the salaries of the players, which of course the billionaire owners want to do. So what the players sound like they're saying is, we're not even going to, even in this crisis, even in this global pandemic, we're not going to give y'all the sort of entree to start doing that, or to be able to do that. You can't say, hey, we had that 82 game season, we shared revenue and it was cool, right? I mean, you sort of understand what the players are coming from. At the same time, sort of the messaging they have right now, I don't think it's resonating with people because everybody's sacrificing.
It is. Right.
Right?
It is really interesting because it's ultimately like a moral hazard kind of conversation. I mean, it is fair for, like if you just took dollars out of it and,
oh, sure.
And you watched Snell do the math and say, like, listen, if I, I'm getting half of what I'm getting paid because the season's cut in half on top of like a 33% cut of the half that's already there. He said, I'm really getting like 25%. And then that is taxed. And what I'm being asked to do is ride on a bus with a bunch of other players, be in a locker room with people, have a whole staff around us, even if fans aren't in the stand, and potentially really expose myself to danger for, an extremely tiny fraction of what I would normally make. Then you'd be like, yeah, that totally makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I think what it really says is everybody's just in a bad spot.
Yep. Well, it's also one of the classic sort of M's versus B's, millionaires versus billionaires, right? The owners are saying, hook us up, take a pay cut so that we can still have baseball. And they're sort of leaning on the American, we got to have baseball. That's when things are going to get back to normal. Right. And the players are saying, we're the ones taking the risk. You're the rich guys. You're not taking any risk. So it is sort of that classic argument of the owners who aren't actually a part of the product, except for paying writing the checks. They're the ones sort of in line to reap the benefit of baseball and a pandemic and a shortened season. It's a bunch because there are so many, and we had to offer our hot take, of course, on Make Me Smart. So many hot takes
obviously
out there right now. And it's so interesting to hear different sports writers sort of, because they're arguing about sort of who's right.
Yeah.
But I think
what's your hot take? What do you think?
My hot take is, I think Snell ultimately is probably right. His messaging was wrong. And so when you say that
unless I get mine, it's a little like, eh.
You kind of, I'm not playing unless I get mine. Right. Yeah.
It's also fair
you need
for him
your
to
PR
be like,
guy to sort of write that up.
Yes, exactly. Yes, that is true. But it is really just like, come on, man. Like baseball is not an essential service. So if you're going to ask me to come out here and do this, no, like so many things, it comes back to all of the things that were already wrong, which is like the amount of money that players were getting paid, the amount of money that owners make and don't return back. And then now they're in this position, which I don't know. I think it's fair. I think it's fair, actually, for Snell to be like,
I kind of do too.
At first, point.
It's so funny because my gut reaction immediately was, whoa, dude. And then you sort of start, you start thinking about the argument and you're like, you know what? I kind of think he's right. It's weird.
I think so. Like, how about don't play a game that puts people at risk? Maybe just that. And I mean, I say this as a sports lover.
Right.
It's not that necessary that you need to put people
Molly,
at risk.
have you been watching? Have you been either staying up really late or getting up really early Pacific time to watch Korean baseball?
No. No, but I know people who are and are like.
Well, I was going to reserve this for a smile, but I'll say it now. I have another one. My brother and I, when on opening day, I went over to his house at 4 a.m, and we sort of stayed really far apart from each other and watched baseball. It was awesome.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah. It was.
You know what? Actually,
cool.
this is the perfect segue to make me smile because there's a to that too. Let's do it.
Awesome.
Right on it. Because what I have been watching is The Last Dance, the Michael Jordan documentary on ESPN. Have you been watching this?
It is, right? It's the Michael Jordan documentary. They're calling it The Last Dance. And they're talking about the Bulls, but it's about Jordan, right?
Oh yeah. Is somebody not calling it that?
No. I think they sold it as this is the Bulls' last season. It's totally Jordan. Come on. Which is fine.
Oh yeah. No, it's only the Michael Jordan documentary. It is fascinating. Like Michael Jordan's essential Michael Jordan-ness will never change and is so but I gotta say, it's really good and it's really compelling, especially if you happen to be around my age where the Bulls were like your childhood. Like I grew up in exactly that era when the Bulls were like ascendant, when Michael Jordan was everything, when the shoes came out. They really glossed over some of the social issues around the shoes, but whatever.
They did. I had a life-size poster in my room. My brother and I did.
Totally. Yep.
Yeah,
and my brother and I like bonded over the Bulls. We used to, before we knew that long distance was a thing, but when it was a thing, right. Like I was living in Omaha, Nebraska. He was in North Dakota, and we would sit on the phone long distance watching Bulls games, like not even talking, just watching the game together and then cheering when it happened. So that's awesome. I'm loving the documentary, but the thing that I'm loving the most about the documentary is the music. The music is absolutely fire. Like the music choices are absolutely perfect because they're like exactly from the era, and then they're just so like well mixed. I mean, this thing needs to win all the awards. And then my brother sent me the Last Dance official playlist on Spotify. And awesome. I am just saying that if you need to be in a better mood, then you put this on and you walk down the street and you listen to Down with the King by Run DMC, Super Bon Bon by Soul Coughing, Hip Hop Hooray by Naughty by Nature, which I'm going to say, I sat here on my yoga ball today, writing the afternoon show for Kai and just like bouncing, listening to Hip Hop Hooray. I listened to it like 7 times. If I Ruled the World by Nas and Lauryn Hill, like this playlist will make you smile. Even if you didn't grow up with it, it is going to make you smile. There's Outkast, there's Simon and Garfunkel, there's DMX. Like, it's just so good.
It's a high school dance playlist. It's awesome, right?
It's a high school dance playlist. LL Cool J. Like, it's just wonderful. And it made me smile the whole entire day. And I want to share it with you. Yep. All right, what you got? I'm excited about your link.
So mine was pretty, actually, my girlfriend Caitlin sent it to me. And I said, oh my God, I'm going to talk about this in about an hour. So what happened was a bunch of restaurants, basically restaurant chains, posted online how to make their sort of specific dishes. So the Olive Garden, is posting their Alfredo. So the recipe for this. Cheesecake Factory has all of their, they have that massive menu. So they're posting all the recipes, even IKEA and its meatballs, which are kind of famous, infamous, whatever.
Delicious.
But Disney parks, which people actually love the food at Disney.
Yes. Totally. And my son loves the food at Disney. If they had the turkey, I would be having to figure out how to order like a whole turkey, make the leg.
Well, that's the cool thing too, is that it's sort of an acknowledgement, I think, of, hey, you can't come to a restaurant, but try to do it yourself. And then I wonder what I keep sort of thinking about, if they're plotting, we open back up, the first thing you're going to do is go to Olive Garden and get their breadsticks because you tried it and it didn't work.
Yeah, right? This is so smart. I was actually just today talking about a woman I know who is ordering, she's ordering specialty foods from all over the country. So she ordered like a Philly cheesesteak, deconstructed Philly cheesesteak from Philly, and she ordered hot cross buns from somewhere in Mississippi, I think, and that's genius. It's awesome. I love it. Yep. This will.
Taco Bell is also doing their taco bar, which is, I just saw a commercial for that. Kind of weird.
I'm all over it. I'm all over it.
For sure. Well, it's also one of those weird things too, where it's like it can feed 6 people. I guess if you have 6 people in your family, it's not going to be a hang in these conditions. So you're I guess it's going to be a family thing.
It's just a small taco bar.
Yeah, but no, that made me smile. It was great.
It does. It's perfect. I'm going to find a recipe for a turkey leg from Disneyland and make it for my son and pretend we're there.
There you go.
All right. And make a video for you guys. That is it for us. Thanks for hanging with us through our live stream experiments and, of course, our daily show. Your thoughts, your questions, your comments, makemesmart@marketplace.org. And be sure to check out our explainers on your smart speaker. Kai is on there today talking about NASCAR, which I'm going to listen to immediately after this.
I am too.
Andy's like, excuse me.
Yeah, I know.
And thanks, Andy, for filling in today. It was fun to have a beer with you remotely.
Always. I know. This is great. It felt great, though. This is wonderful.
Yay. I know. See, it is a pick-me-up. It is a pick-me-up.
Totally.
Make Me Smart is produced and directed by Sam Anderson, who I hope is not having a stressful time there behind the